Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the move updates and we're going to basically take a look at all of them a little bit here. I'm not going to go fully in depth because there's actually quite a lot to talk about here today as well. I have a lot of tabs open to show you. But yeah, here's all of the move updates that are going to happen for the upcoming season. We're going to talk about all of them, and I do think they are more impactful than you might expect, and so I would really recommend you to stay tuned for this video, basically till the end of the video, because there are actually a lot of Pokemon that have a bit more of an impact towards the meta than you might expect, and some move updates that I also didn't expect would be as impactful as they are. But again, we're gonna go into it, and yes, still before we start here, this move update is not as impactful as the last one was, which is expectable, because again, usually in the Niantic's pattern is big move update, small move update, bigger move update, not as big as the first one, and then a small move update, then Worlds, and then again a complete meta overhaul. And that's kind of exactly what happened here. We have a small update, but it's still impactful, and that's kind of what I want to talk about here today as well, so definitely stay tuned. We're going to talk about all of them here that you see on the screen, and we're going to move on with it once they have new attacks added to them, which is Diggersby with Focus Blast, Bibarel with the move Rollout, Psywave on the Starmie, and Gliscor with the move Sand Attack. We're mainly going to take a look here in the Great League because again, I don't want to have the video like ages long, and yeah, this is by the way my own version of PvPoke, so it kind of showcases you kind of more on like all of the meta changes are basically in here. For Bulldoze, by the way, before we start as well, Bulldoze I put to 35 energy, 50% chance of decrease in the opponent's defense. We don't know the exact stats, this is kind of not something we know. Righteous I put to 40 energy, which is very likely going to happen, and for Ice Fang, Fire Fang, and Thunder Fang I gave a +1 energy generation, which is the smallest change that they can do with buffing that one. Anyway, here we're going to see the new Pokemon that got new move updates added to them. We're going to see here Diggersby losing quite a lot of matchups with Focus Blast. I highly doubt that Focus Blast is going to have a lot of play. It could have some play to surprise opponents in terms of Steel-type Pokemon don't want to get hit by a Focus Blast, you're going to be able to hit them for super effective damage. I still think Outrage is better, because Outrage is going to be more consistent, is cheaper to get to, and just does stab damage. And so for anything that is not against a Steel-type Pokemon, Focus Blast is not needed, and I think it's more of a change that will not have any impact at all for Diggersby. That being said, Diggersby is still a very solid Pokemon, so maybe something especially for the Ultra League that you might want to take a look at. Bibarel next. Day and night, like literally one of the strongest Pokemon now in the meta. Bibarel with Surf and Hyper Fang is going to be insane. You also have access to the move Hyper Beam, which is kind of hilarious, which you can use as well, making it also an interesting Pokemon. But I think you would actually have access to Return as well, which might be the better move to go for, giving you a little bit of a middle ground between Hyper Beam as well as Hyper Fang. Hyper Fang is not the strongest move. Return might be the better play here, but I also would be interested at least in the Shadow Rollout variant of Bibarel. This would be very interesting for me as well here to see a little bit worse. So you would like to have the bulk most likely with this Pokemon, and then Surf, maybe Return, maybe Hyper Beam. You could, of course, go for the safe play of Hyper Fang, but Bibarel definitely a very strong Pokemon. And then we have Starmie, and Starmie I'm actually most interested in, and I think it's the best Pokemon that got added this iteration. We have an overall rating of only 1706 here for this Pokemon, but Psywave is one of the best fast moves in the game, Shadow Claw Clone but a one-turn, which is even better, and we have a great move pool. We have Thunder to counter other water-type Pokemon. We have Surf just as the main thing. Surf is always going to be on this Pokemon because it's the cheapest move. It is very strong. It is stab. We have Power Gem to counter Flying-type Pokemon, to counter whatever, but I guess it's going to be mostly the most consistent secondary move is Power Gem on this Pokemon, but even Ice Beam to counter like Dragon-type Pokemon has a lot of play. So what I feel like you see with this Pokemon, there is so much play with this Pokemon depending on what kind of meta you're in. And I could see, especially for the Play Pokemon tournament, that even Pokemon like Starmies with Thunder might be able to beat other Starmies a little bit easier, or like other water-type Pokemon. And there's a lot of potential for Starmie. Like there's so much potential just because of the move pool. And as you're going to see here, this Pokemon is insanely strong as well already, just with Power Gem and Surf, and of course now Psywave. Then we're going to have the last one here with Gliscor. I decided to go for Night Sash and the Aerial Ace for this one, which you saw already down there. But I could also change it, of course, to go for something like the Earthquake, which is the recommended moveset still. Yes, it does a bit more. Gliscor is definitely a very solid meta Pokemon that you're going to see quite often as well, for sure, but it's not going to be as strong as something like Starmie, but Starmie is definitely going to be very, very strong for the upcoming season. Definitely very interested. Now we're going to take a look at Fire Fang. Fire Fang got buffed by 1 energy, it's now 6 energy instead of 5 here most likely, which is going to be very cool for it. Here we're gonna see Pokemon that can learn this move, and we're gonna see here Pokemon like Arcanine, which is interesting. History Arcanine maybe, but not as much interesting for that one. Entei would be maybe a bit of a boost, but it already has Fire Spin, which is good, a little bit better. We have Houndoom, not really the greatest charge moves. We have Mawile, non-stab, but is cool, could be very decent. We have Darumaka and Darmanitan, which have Incinerate, where you don't need Fire Fang. We have Reshiram, which actually is going to have a bit of a niche, which we're going to talk about at the end of the video, actually. We have Incineroar and we have Zacian. Zacian never gonna use that most likely. Actually, I could see Zacian using it. We're maybe gonna take a look at this one later as well again. But as you can see here, here's some Pokemon that could have some impact with it. We have Arcanine, we're going to have Houndoom, we're going to have Mawile, we have Incineroar. Just for the sake of keeping this video a bit shorter than, yeah, it's still going to be a long video. We're just not going to compare it to what it was before. Arcanine got a little bit of a boost with it. Arcanine is a little bit better with it, for sure. Houndoom still has no potential. Mawile has a bit of potential, and Incineroar is a little bit better with it. That's all I can say with it. Not the biggest update. I would have liked to see a bit of a bigger update for the Arcanine. I would really like to see Arcanine with a bit of a bigger upgrade than just Fire Fang. But it's not going to be happening this season. I still think Arcanine will have some potential niche play. I definitely do think that. But it's not going to be too impactful. Mawile, most likely the best Fire Fang user. We can take a look at the 2-Shield, which is the best matchup for this move because there's a lot of damage. We have a lot of Pokemon that benefit from having 2 shields here with the fast charge moves of Power Punch and Psychic Fangs. As you can see here, Arcanine has a bit of potential, Mawile has a lot of more potential, Incineroar and Houndoom not so much. So, small update, very small update. Next up, we're going to have Ice Fang users. We have the Avalok, which might be good for the Master League. Maybe we're going to take a look at this one later as well. Arctibex and Baxcalibur, we're going to take a look at this one later as well. Darmanitan, not really having the bulk. Hippowdon, funny, but like that's the thing as well. Like with the Fang moves, it's mainly trying to catch someone off guard basically with it. Here we have Mawile again as a user for this one, or Drapion, but again, they have better fast moves already with Fairy Wind or Poison Sting. Here we're going to just have Avalok, the Mawile, and the Arctibugs. Here Arctibugs first with Dragon Breath and then with Ice Fang, so you can see the difference. And what we'll see here as well, I had my Diana in there before, which I just deleted. My Diana is not as great for it. As you can see here, Arctibex has potential with Ice Fang. It's kind of getting toe-to-toe with the Dragon Breath, but generally speaking, Dragon Breath is the better move here. It is not as great as, basically Ice Fang is not as great as Dragon Breath here, and this is just a general theme. We're going to have Mawile, which has a bit of potential, but not as much as Fire Fang Mawile, and Avalok, which actually has a little bit more potential, and that's something that I definitely think could be also very interesting for the Open Master League. With the Avalok, with Ice Fang, definitely see there a lot of play for this Pokemon. Next up, we're going to have the Pokemon that can use Thunderfang. Then this is the thing as well, which I kind of wish would have happened, is that more Pokemon have got access to move as well if they're buffered. Might be happening for the next season, but as you can see here, only one electric type Pokemon has access to Thunderfang. And so it's not really a move that we have to talk about because only Steelix and Manectric really can use that because Hippowdon has a better fast move already with Sand Attack. You don't need at all like any of the Fang moves anymore on this Pokemon. And then it's only Steelix which doesn't have a good stab move as a fast move, and Manectric that actually have a bit of an impact from it. And as you can see here, those two Pokemon definitely going to be okay with this. As you will see, it's definitely going to be an impactful change for both Pokemon here, but only really Steelix is usable. And then we're going to take a look again here in the 2-Shield scenario, because we're going to have again two Pokemon that can debuff the opponent with Psychic Fangs as well as Psychic Fangs. And we will see actually that Manectric has a lot of play in the 2-Shield scenario, so it could be a cool lead in order to try to align your backline. Could be a nice closer if you want to, like if you get a Pokemon out, for example, a water type Pokemon, you can just fully farm it down. But it's a bit tricky to play this Pokemon anyway in a Mud-Step meta. And Mud-Step meta is not going to go away, it's going to most likely be even crazier. Fire Punch users now. We're gonna be here at the Fire Punch on general, the punch moves coming up now. We're going to see here the biggest upgrade is gonna be Diggersby. Diggersby really gonna appreciate this one. Ursaluna has access to all of the punch moves, which makes this Pokemon also kinda interesting. We have Groudon, which is gonna be a bit better for the Open Master League again, but will not most likely be the biggest impact. We maybe can take a look at this later as well. But yeah, we have Dusclops, we're going to have Hypno. We have a lot of interesting Pokemon here. As you can see, we're going to take a look at Magma, Hypno, as well as Dusclops and the Diggersby. As you will see here, Dusclops has some play, Hypno has some play, Magma doesn't have play, even though it got buffed with Karate Chop, Fire Punch, and the Scorching Sand. But as you will see here, Diggersby is going to be one of the biggest threats for the upcoming season. This Pokemon is a must build. And again, there are going to be a lot of simplified versions or like simplified videos towards the new season on this channel. So feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you want to have some more details towards the new season, what you want to build, what you don't want to build. There's a lot of stuff coming up towards it, so definitely stay tuned for this one. You know, I always upload a lot of things towards the new season on this channel, so still gonna be the case this season. Stay tuned. Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be mostly one of the more impactful ones from like the elemental changes, I would say. As Ice Punch is going to have basically a lot more play here. We're going to have Alolan Sandsearch with it, we have Primeape with it, we have Annihilate with it, we have Vesluna with it, we have Marshadow with it, we're going to have Dusclops, Medicham, mark my words, this Pokemon is going to be definitely back. We have Haunter, we have Hypno, a lot of cool Pokemon here, for sure, and so this is definitely going to be an interesting one. We have Jinx here, which is going to be having the legacy move of this one, but Jinx is not really the best Pokemon, as you know. And as we're going to see here, Medicham, Poliwrath, Haunter, Annihilate, and also the Sandsearch. Of course, Annihilate has also Rage Fist, which got nerfed, so maybe it's going to be something that's also a bit more impactful towards it, but as you're going to see here, look at Medicham. Like, this Pokemon is going to be so big because it's going to be able to counter, especially the Diggersby, but also have now better play against like Mudslap users, so I would be surprised if Medicham was not back. Medicham should be top meta again next season, mark my words. Medicham is back, and it's kind of funny because I did not expect this at all, but look on how strong this Pokemon looks already. And you lose even here matchups against the Jumpluff. In certain situations, you're not going to lose those matchups. You're going to be able to beat them with the Ice Punch. And that is something that is crazy to me, that Medicham is going to be back for sure, I would say. I could not see basically a meta where Medicham would not be back with the meta that changes that we have right now. So this Pokemon, make sure to have it. Like, it is again a Pokemon that you might think is more of a meme now. I think Counter Medicham is also, by the way, better than Psycho Cut Medicham for this one, because it's gonna put opponents more into range for Ice Punch than the Psycho Cut variant of this one. So for sure, I think this Pokemon is back. And Alolan Sandsearch also gonna get a bit of a boost. Of course, you don't really see it too much here, but I think it's going to be an interesting Pokemon. There's another boost to Alolan Sandsearch that we're gonna talk about a bit later today. But first off, Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is going to be on Pokemon like Pikachu Libra, fun Pokemon to use. Alolan Mach Ampharos, most likely interesting Pokemon, Electivire. We're going to talk about this one a little bit later as well, but not because of Thunder Punch, to be fair. We're going to have Chestnut. We have a lot of Pokemon that recently got this. Of course, Goodra got it through the community day, which you're going to take a look at as well for sure. But most Pokemon don't really want to use Thunder Punch currently. I could see places where like Scrafty or the Chestnut would want to use this maybe in order to trick some opponents to be thinking that they are safe. But their main Pokemon that really like this one is Hypno, Pachirisu for example, Typhlosion mainly, Ampharos maybe, Muk definitely, and maybe something even like a Lucario or something like this. But here we're going to have the Typhlosion, Goodra, Pachirisu, Muk, and Hypno, and as you're going to see here as well, this is going to be an interesting change here for them, as you will see that, for example, Pachirisu is going to be a very strong Pokemon again. Typhlosion definitely going to enjoy this buff as well. I'm fairly certain that one Thunder Punch now as well is going to put easily the Feraligatr into range where you can knock them out afterwards, which wasn't always the case. And so I think this is going to be a very good update for this one. Hypno, of course, having all elemental punches is going to make this Pokemon very interesting as well. There are, of course, some of the fighting boys that have those elemental punches as well, like Hitmonchan, which sadly kind of got holding back here from the counter nerf, but still, this is going to be very interesting. Like the Thunder Punch change definitely going to be very impactful for a lot of Pokemon, for Goodra especially as well. So I can't wait for this one. Definitely going to be interesting. And here we're going to have now the most impactful change in my opinion, which is going to be Thundershock. And Thundershock is going to be on a lot of Pokemon. Hisuian Electrode, gonna enjoy this one. Hisuian Electrode already going to have access now to the move Swift, which recently got buffed, as well as Wild Charge, as well as Energy Ball. This Pokemon has it all. Interesting Pokemon. Not gonna take a look at it today. Electivire. Think about Electivire. We have Thundershock buff. We have Thunder Punch buff. We have Wild Charge still on it, which is better than Thunder Punch, so we're not gonna talk about it. We have Ice Punch buff. This Pokemon learns Ice Punch. It has really good coverage. It has Bolt Beam coverage. What this means is you have Electric and Ice type coverage, and this is not resisted by any type on this game in this game other than Steel and Electric. So this Pokemon is going to be very safe and also very strong, and we're gonna see it very, very soon. Even though people will not expect this Pokemon, there is a lot of play for this one. Other Pokemon here, Melmetal for the Master League might be back as well. We have Stunfisk for the Open Great League. We have Emolga. We have Zapdos. Like, there are a lot of Pokemon, but also my favorite, Morpeko, got another boost. I don't know how Morpeko gets away with all of those changes, but I will not complain. Morpeko is amazing. I could see this Pokemon getting nerfed next season, for sure, after this change, but I think it's still, generally speaking, one of the more exciting ones. And I have not really seen anybody really say anything towards it, but I think it's a very exciting change. Even Magneton might be an exciting Pokemon to use now. Morpeko, Stunfisk, Electivire with Ice Punch and Thundershock, Emolga, Dedenne, Zapdos. Just look at it. Like, they're all super, super good in the current meta. Galarian Stunfisk, or like, no, not Galarian, normal Stunfisk has a lot of play just because of the bulk it has, because of the coverage it has. Electivire has, again, no direct answer. There's not a single Pokemon in the current meta, other than basically the Magnet line, that is going to be able to resist the moveset this Pokemon has. Means it is kind of free as a Say Swap. And with Ice Punch and Wild Charge on it, it is very, very strong. But, again, kind of catch. Mudslap. Mudslap is going to be very, very good this season. Mudslap is definitely going to be very, very strong. But what this also means is that Pokemon like Emolga and Zapdos have a very nice niche this meta, because you're going to be able to resist Mudslap. As you can see here as well, Emolga wins against Gastrodon. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zapdos would be able to win in like some shield scenarios as well against it. Apparently in the zero shield scenario, you're going to win against this Pokemon as well. What is a normal Zapdos going to look like? Or you're going to win in the one shield scenario. So they're always going to be able to get some kind of advantage with Zapdos, an electric type Pokemon, against those Mudslappers. How is Emolga's matchup going to look like? You're going to win in the zero shield scenario with Emolga with it, which is really, really cool again. And so, like, while you're an electric type Pokemon, you still have play. And while you don't have the best stats, you still have play. And this is going to be one of the most impactful changes. We're getting close to the end, which is really good because all the video is already a little bit longer. Bulldoze change. Again, I put it to 35 energy, could be completely different, could be 40, could be 45. 45 damage, which is guaranteed, and a 50% chance to drop the opponent's defense. Apparently it's defense, I don't understand it, because Bulldoze drops the opponent's speed in the main series games, same as Icy Wind. Icy Wind drops attack, not defense. I don't know why Niantic decided to do this, maybe it's wrongly translated. Anyway, we're going to have some interesting Pokemon here. Bronzong would definitely benefit from it a little bit as well. Lone Sensors, Normal Sensors, Rhyhorn even, which you're going to take a look at. Mamoswine, which you're going to take a look at, but in a different part of the video. Not so much Landorus, but the awkward thing here in the room is number 0718, Zygarde. Zygarde has this move. Making it a 35 energy move makes Zygarde even stronger. And I fear about this. I fear that this is going to be a change that is unnecessary, that just completely makes a Pokemon that doesn't even need the move. It has Earthquake, for God's sake. Like, why? Why did you even give the move at the first place? We're going to take a look at this later on how strong it actually is. But as you're going to see here as well, we have all of the Pokemon here, and we see that it's not going to be too crazy impactful, but it's not going to make it too worse as well. Even Rhyhorn has some play as a normal Rhyhorn with return, and the new move of Bulldoze here has some play. Then again, though, I highly doubt it's going to be actually that good because of the other Pokemon in the room here, which I'm going to take a little bit look in like 2 slides basically, which is going to be, of course, the Zygarde. But as you can see, actually, the Lone Sensor has so much potential with this move as well, which is kind of hilarious. Krokorok has a lot of potential, and it's a very good move in the 2-shield scenario, I have to say. But yeah, this is going to be interesting here if it's actually going to be the case just because of the Zygarde, which you're going to see in the slide after this one. Here, we're just going to take a look at Primeape and Annihilate, and as you can see here, those Pokemon actually still have some play. Especially Primeape still has some play. People kind of say, oh, they have no play at all anymore. I do not think that this is the case. I think it still has a lot of potential here, those 2 Pokemon. But, yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, Ice Punch is also an option for them. I don't know if Ice Punch is going to be the better move to go for now as well. For something like a Primeape could be the case, going to allow you to hit like flying type Pokemon a bit better. There's some potential. I don't think that Rage Twist is now the guaranteed best move on those Pokemon. I feel like Ice Punch could definitely have a lot of impact towards them as well. As you can see as well, it makes some matchups a bit different. But yeah, I definitely do think that it was a wrong change to change Shadow Punch the way they wanted to change it. I feel like a change would have been necessary, but minus 10 damage would have been way better than giving it more energy. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain, to be fair. I do think it's better for the meta. But then again, they buffed Morpeko, which is kind of similar to those Pokemon where just like they're a bit too overpowered. Morpeko is a bit too overpowered. So I don't really know. But anyway, we're going to take a look now at the Master League. We have some funny things here going up. We're still going to have the option to take a look at some of the other ones. But yeah, we're going to have here Marshadow with Ice Punch, Reshiram with Fire Fang, Melmetal with Thundershock. We have the Mamoswine with Mud Slap and Bulldoze. Again, Bulldoze got buffed. And we have Zygarde with first Bulldoze, then Earthquake. As you're going to see here, Zygarde gets even better if this Bulldoze is going to happen like it does. It's going to be even stronger. It's even more annoying. It's basically impossible to win then. I just don't really see that the Bulldoze change really gives any impact to other Pokemon other than Zygarde, and that's kind of annoying. Mamoswine actually has a lot of play though. Like Mamoswine definitely with a move would have a lot of play. All Pokemon actually died to Palkia Origin, which is kind of hilarious. Melmetal still doesn't have any play at all, which is kind of hilarious. Reshiram does. Reshiram all of a sudden is going to be able to be basically an answer to every fairy type Pokemon, which I like to see. That's really cool for me. I think it's a cool Pokemon to have. Marshadow has a lot more play now as well, having Sucker Punch being buffed and Ice Punch being buffed, making this Pokemon very interesting, and I think that's definitely a Pokemon that I want to take a look at again as well, with Ice Punch. Is definitely very cool. But we have two more Pokemon that we can take a look real quick as well. We have the Zacian for the last one here, which we're going to be able to go for Fire Fang, and I would actually go for Wild Shot just to be faster. And then we're going to have also the Groudon with Fire Punch, which we want to take a look at as well, and see if they're going to be way better. I highly doubt it, and as you're going to see, yeah, neither of them is going to be super impactful. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. A lot to talk about, 20 minutes here of, yeah, the new move changes. There's going to be more videos coming up. There's going to be hopefully a tier list later on as well on this channel still to kind of show where what is going to be. And there's going to be a lot of videos on top of like Pokemon that you want to build, Pokemon that you want to avoid, Pokemon that got the biggest updates, all of this good stuff. So stay tuned for this one. I just leave it at this one, and I'm mostly on some food though, so see you then. Bye bye.